In a world where misinformation spreads like wildfire, anti-vaxxers have been using fear-mongering tactics to push their agenda. This phenomenon, a growing crisis, has been catalyzed by the rise of social media and the digital world, where rumors can gain traction and morph into full-blown fallacies in just mere seconds. The anti-vax movement is one such offshoot of this age of misinformation. Armed with baseless theories and ill-founded beliefs, this group has been successful in sparking fear and uncertainty among millions of individuals worldwide. One of the tactics they use is propaganda, misleading or biased information used to promote a particular cause or point of view. This propaganda primarily focuses on instilling fear about vaccines, presenting them as harmful agents causing various health issues. These claims, more often than not, lack any substantial scientific backing, yet they manage to create a powerful impact on the minds of the audience. Among the plethora of lies propagated by anti-vaxxers, there are some that stand out due to the severity of the misconceptions they birth. Let's take a journey to debunk some of these myths, shedding light on the truth, hidden layers of deceit. It is essential to understand these fallacies in order to differentiate between fact and fiction, allowing for informed decisions to be made. First up, the infamous autism myth. A claim that has been circulated extensively, the autism myth suggests a direct link between vaccination and the development of autism in children. Despite numerous studies conducted by reputed scientific institutions debunking any such link, this erroneous belief continues to prevail. The persistence of this myth, even after being proven blatantly false, is a testament to the power of fear-mongering and misinformation. The fact that this misconception continues to persist, causing unnecessary fear among parents, speaks volumes about the power of misinformation in our world today. Next, we delve into the toxin misconception. This is a phrase that is widely used within the anti-vaccination community. It is a belief that anti-vaxxers have strongly held onto, often claiming that vaccines are filled with harmful toxins. They argue that these substances, which they perceive to be harmful, are injected into our bodies and can cause significant harm. This kind of thinking, though gaining some popularity in certain circles, is largely based on misconceptions and misinformation. The claim that vaccines are filled with harmful toxins is a misinterpretation of the complex science behind vaccine development. To understand this, we need to take a step back and look at how vaccines are made. Vaccines are developed using rigorous scientific processes, involving the use of components that stimulate the body's immune response. Yes, these components often include substances that would be harmful in large amounts, but the key here is the dosage. The amounts in which these substances are used in vaccines are extremely minimal and well regulated. It's worth noting that our bodies encounter and combat toxins and harmful substances daily. The air we breathe, the food we consume, and the water we drink all contain minuscule amounts of substances that are far more harmful than the ingredients in vaccines. Yet our bodies are designed to handle these substances effectively and efficiently. So, when anti-vaxxers talk about toxins in vaccines, it's important to understand what they're really referring to. These aren't mysterious, harmful substances designed to cause us harm. Instead, they are carefully regulated ingredients that play a crucial role in stimulating our immune response, helping us to develop immunity against potentially deadly diseases. Moreover, the ingredients in these vaccines are not just thrown together in a haphazard manner. Each ingredient is purposefully chosen and meticulously regulated to ensure that it's safe for use within the general population. There's a serious and diligent process that takes place, and the ingredients that are used are under strict regulation. Therefore, the truth is, the ingredients in vaccines are carefully regulated and pose no significant risk to our health. They are essential components that help us build our immunity against various diseases, and the perceived toxins are largely misunderstood. Then there's the belief in natural immunity superiority, a conviction that has been held by many since the dawn of the health and wellness era. This belief in our body's natural ability to fight off diseases and infections, to build a formidable defense system without any external aid, is not entirely without merit. Indeed, The human body's immune system is remarkable in its precision and effectiveness, having evolved over millions of years to protect us from a myriad of threats. Yet, we must consider the context. In a world before modern medicine, before vaccines and antibiotics, natural immunity was all we had. Through countless generations, our bodies learned how to recognize and combat a diverse range of pathogens. But the process was fraught with danger. Those who survived a deadly disease were indeed naturally immunized against it, but many succumbed to these illnesses before their immune system could mount a defense. In our current age, we have come to understand that while natural immunity is undeniably important, it is not foolproof. We have witnessed firsthand the devastating effects of diseases like measles, tuberculosis, and more recently, COVID-19. We've seen how a novel virus can wreak havoc around the globe, overwhelming even the most robust immune systems. Moreover, relying on natural immunity can often come at a much higher cost than we realize. It's a gamble, a roll of the dice with potentially dire consequences. It means risking serious illness, long-term health complications, and in the worst-case scenarios, it could even result in death. It's important to strike a balance. We must not discount the value of vaccines and other medical interventions designed to boost our immune systems and protect us from these diseases. These scientific advances work in tandem with our natural immunity, giving us the best possible chance of staying healthy. In conclusion, while natural immunity is important, it often comes at a much higher cost, risking serious illness or even death. It's a cost that we must weigh carefully against the benefits of modern medicine. The overload myth suggests that vaccines overwhelm the immune system, a notion that has been propagated for years. This concept argues that the introduction of multiple vaccines at once or in quick succession can prove too much for the body to handle. This sentiment has been echoed by many despite a lack of scientific evidence to support it. However, in reality, our immune systems are far more resilient, impressive, and capable than we give them credit for. Our bodies are constantly being bombarded by a myriad of pathogens every single day. These range from bacteria, viruses, fungi, to even parasites. We are exposed to these potential threats through various channels, such as the food we eat, the air we breathe, the things we touch, and even through simple acts like kissing or shaking hands. Imagine your immune system as a vigilant watchman, always on the lookout for intruders. It doesn't just sit idle, waiting for a real threat to strike. Instead, it's constantly engaged in a complex and highly sophisticated process of distinguishing self from non-self, friend from foe, harmless from harmful. This process is not only necessary for survival, but also forms the very basis of human health. Vaccines in this context are not invaders or threats, but allies. They are designed to help our bodies recognize and remember the harmful pathogens we might encounter in the future. The antigens present in vaccines are weakened or dead versions of the disease-causing pathogens, incapable of causing the disease themselves, but perfectly capable of teaching our immune system a valuable lesson on how to fight the actual pathogens. Hence, vaccines do not overwhelm the immune system. Instead, they equip it. They are like a training drill for your immune system, carefully crafted to prepare it for a real battle. They enhance the body's natural defenses, allowing it to mount a quicker and more effective response when faced with the actual disease. So the truth is far from the myths. Vaccines simply help prepare our bodies to fight off pathogens more effectively, thereby improving our chances of staying healthy. They are not an overload to our system, but a vital part of our defense mechanism. And let's not forget the Big Pharma conspiracy. No matter the subject matter, it's virtually impossible to steer clear from the labyrinth of theories that encompass the Big Pharma conspiracy. This popular belief is rooted in the idea that giant pharmaceutical companies are allegedly making colossal profits from vaccines. Some go as far as to view it as a manipulative strategy aimed purely at profit-making rather than public health. While it is indeed true that these pharmaceutical companies do stand to profit from the production and distribution of vaccines, it is crucial to remember the nuances. These companies are corporations. They exist to make a profit. However, that doesn't automatically invalidate the importance and effectiveness of vaccines. The workings of these pharmaceutical companies are far more complex than the conspiracy theories make them out to be. The process of creating a vaccine is costly and complicated, taking several years and involving numerous stages. They require extensive research, testing, and multiple rounds of clinical trials. They require the concerted efforts of dedicated scientists, researchers, and healthcare professionals who work tirelessly to progress. The resources poured into this process are immense. The importance of stringent regulations cannot be understated. These ensure that the vaccines undergo rigorous testing before they reach the public. They are subject to continuous monitoring and scrutiny, which guarantees their safety and effectiveness. Regulatory bodies like the FDA in the US, the EMA in Europe, and the MHRA in the UK, and others across the world are in place to provide this oversight. These stringent checks and measures are a significant part of the process, often overlooked in the narrow view of conspiracy theories. The profit made from vaccines does not take away from their necessity in preventing disease outbreak and maintaining public health. It's important to separate the economics from the fundamental public health value that vaccines bring. They are a crucial tool in our fight against infectious diseases and have been instrumental in eradicating deadly diseases like smallpox and drastically reducing the incidence of others like polio. The rigorous testing and regulations ensure their safety and effectiveness. Other lies include vaccine shedding, aluminum content, GMO and animal products, alternative medicine, and more. Let's delve into these in more detail. The first misconception is the notion of vaccine shedding. It is the unfounded fear that the vaccinated can somehow spread their immunity to unvaccinated individuals. This stems from the lack of understanding about how vaccines actually work. They use a weakened or inactive part of a pathogen, such as a virus or bacteria, to stimulate the body's immune response. This response, once triggered, remains in the vaccinated individual, primed to defend against the actual pathogen. There is no shedding involved. Next on the list is the aluminum content scare. Vaccines often contain aluminum salts to enhance the body's immune response. This has led to the spread of misinformation that vaccines are dangerous due to their aluminum content. However, the truth is that the amount of aluminum in vaccines is far less than what an average person consumes daily through food and water. The third untruth revolves around GMO and animal products in vaccines. Some vaccines are indeed made using animal cells or genetically modified organisms, but these are used because of their proven safety and effectiveness in vaccine production. The fears associated with these components are largely due to misinformation and misunderstanding of the processes involved. Then we have the argument for alternative medicine. While alternative medicine has its place and can complement traditional medicine, it cannot replace vaccines. Vaccines are scientifically proven to prevent diseases, and alternative therapies cannot make the same claims. Finally, there are a myriad of additional lies that revolve around vaccines, each trying to instill fear and doubt in the minds of the public. They range from the absurd to the downright dangerous, preying on the lack of information or understanding. It's important to remember that these are just that, lies. Other lies include vaccine shedding, aluminum content, GMO and animal products, alternative medicine, and more. So why do they lie about vaccines? This question is one that has puzzled many. To unravel the answer, we need to dive deep into the murky waters of misinformation, fear, and distrust. These are elements that form a complex web, ensnaring individuals into a spiral of confusion and uncertainty. Misinformation is not just a byproduct of ignorance, it is also an outcome of deliberate attempts to mislead. In the world of social media and instant communication, a single unverified rumor can spread like wildfire, reaching millions in a matter of minutes. It's a phenomenon that gets exploited to the maximum, with false narratives about vaccines causing more harm than good doing the rounds on a regular basis. Fear, on the other hand, is a primal human emotion. Fear of the unknown, fear of change, or fear for personal health and well-being can often drive us to make decisions that might not be in our best interest. Especially when it comes to vaccines, fear can be a powerful motivator, steering individuals towards misinformation and away from factual science. Distrust, the third part of this equation, is equally instrumental. Distrust in institutions, distrust in science, Distrust in the very professionals sworn to protect our health can fuel the fire of vaccine hesitancy. This distrust is often born out of historical injustices, systemic failures, and perceived lack of transparency. It is a sentiment that is not easily swayed, becoming yet another barrier in the path towards widespread vaccine acceptance. But what is the solution to this conundrum? It lies in understanding the facts and science behind vaccines. A world where the majority of us are armed with the right knowledge would be a world where misinformation, fear, and distrust would have no place. Knowledge empowers us to make informed decisions, to challenge misinformation, to quell fear, and to build trust where it's needed the most. We can protect ourselves and our communities from preventable diseases by understanding the facts and science behind vaccines. Through this understanding, we can weather the storm of misinformation, fear, and distrust, and ensure a healthier future for all.